React podcast, where we react to everything and anything.
Yeah.
Today, we're diving deep into Stormzy's Shut Up.
Oh, yeah.
This one was a listener request, and to be honest, I'm super fascinated by this track, like how it went from a car park freestyle to almost like a Christmas anthem.
Right.
To guide our deep dive, we've got the lyrics from Litras.com
Okay.
and the song's Wikipedia page.
That's good.
We're talking about a diss track with grime roots,
Yep.
a viral video,
Yeah.
and a chart battle that gripped the nation.
It's crazy.
So where do we even begin?
Well, I think the foundation of Shut Up is really that iconic instrumental Functions on the Low by Rough Squad.
Oh, yeah.
Released back in 2004.
Yeah.
It became a mainstay for grime MCs, and Stormzy took it and just ran with it.
And that raw energy, like the way he commands the track.
Yeah.
It's clear why that video blew up.
Absolutely.
But let's get into the lyrics themselves.
Okay.
You get that classic Stormzy confidence, almost braggadocious.
Yep.
You know, when he says, I set trends, dem man copy.
I mean, it's not just posturing, though, right? Like,
Right.
that line speaks to a growing awareness of his own influence,
Totally.
which was definitely building even before Shut Up.
Absolutely. And speaking of influence, there's that section where he addresses being called a backup dancer.
Oh, yeah. After performing with Kanye at the Brit Awards,
Yes.
talk about turning a diss into a power move.
I mean,
It's genius.
it's pure lyrical genius, turning the tables like that.
Absolutely.
But then you get to the diss track element,
Okay.
and things get even spicier.
Yeah.
That line, mention my name in your tweets, oi rude boy, shut up, aimed at Cadell,
Yeah.
definitely added fuel to the fire.
For sure, that's like a prime example of the lyrical sparring that's so integral to grime. But it's not always about personal hatred.
Okay.
It's more about pushing each other,
Yeah.
elevating the art form through these verbal battles.
But is it really just friendly competition, though? I mean, some of those lines are brutal.
I mean, it's complex.
Yeah.
Grime is about claiming your space, demonstrating your skill, and yeah, sometimes taking shots at rivals. It's like a test,
Yeah.
forcing everyone to step up their game.
Okay. I can see that, and Shut Up definitely feels like a statement, like a declaration of Stormzy's arrival.
Oh, for sure.
But before we get into that, I have to ask about the Marge reference.
Uh-huh.
I had to look that one up.
Oh, yeah. Marge is slang for mum. Or
Okay.
mom, as you might say.
Right.
It's just a little nod to his personal life.
Yeah.
And you're right, it does add another dimension to the song.
Definitely humanizes him a bit.
Yeah.
Remind us there's more to the story than just the bravado.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of stories, we can't ignore the whole Christmas #1 campaign.
Oh, yeah.
That's where things got really wild.
It's crazy how that track resonated beyond the grime scene
I know.
and captured the attention of the whole nation.
It all started with that brilliant move of playing Shut Up as Anthony Joshua walked into the ring for a major fight.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, talk about exposure.
It was a game changer.
Right.
Suddenly, everyone watching this massive sporting event
Yeah.
is hearing Stormzy's bars,
Yeah.
and the song just exploded.
And then the fans rallied.
Yeah.
They wanted to see Shut Up topple the X Factor winner's single for that coveted Christmas #1 spot.
It was like David versus Goliath, this
Yeah.
grassroots movement challenging the pop music establishment.
And even though it didn't quite make it to #1,
Right.
peaking at #8 is still phenomenal.
Absolutely.
Plus, it went double platinum, selling over 1 million copies.
Yeah. It proved that grime could compete with the biggest names in music, and it solidified Stormzy's position as a major force.
It's truly remarkable, but I'm curious, what do you think it was about Shut Up that resonated so deeply with such a wide audience?
I think it's that authenticity, that raw energy that Stormzy brings. It's the feeling that he's not trying to be anything other than himself.
And the lyrics are clever.
Yeah.
The beat is infectious. It's a perfect storm of elements.
It's a perfect storm.
But let's not forget about the impact this had on grime as a genre.
Right, Shut Up.
Yeah.
Wasn't just a hit song.
Yeah.
It was a watershed moment for grime's journey into the mainstream.
Before we jump into that, though, there's something else we need to unpack, and it's a bit controversial.
Oh, you mean the lyrical sparring with Cadell? I was wondering when we'd get to that.
Shut Up wasn't just a diss track. It was part of a larger conversation happening within the grime scene at the time. What were your initial thoughts on that whole situation?
Well, on one hand, you have this incredible display of lyrical skill and wit.
Right.
But on the other hand, some of the lines are undeniably harsh.
Do you think that level of aggression is essential to grime? Because I can see how it might turn some listeners off.
That's a great question, and it's something that's been debated for years. Grime emerged from a culture of battling, of proving yourself on the mic.
Right.
So the aggression is definitely ingrained in its DNA.
But isn't there a line between artistic expression and just being mean-spirited?
Of course.
Yeah.
But I think it's crucial to understand the context.
Yeah.
In grime, these battles aren't always about personal animosity. They're often about pushing boundaries, experimenting with language, and ultimately elevating the art form.
It's more like a verbal sparring match than a genuine feud.
Exactly. And like any good sparring match, it can get intense.
Yeah.
But it's ultimately about respect and pushing each other be better.
Okay, I can see that. But what about the impact on the wider audience?
Yeah.
Do you think these diss tracks helped or hurt Grime's image?
That's a tricky one. I think it depends on the listener. Some people might be drawn to the raw energy and lyrical dexterity,
Yeah.
while others might be put off by the aggression.
So it's a double-edged sword.
In a way, yes. But ultimately, I think these lyrical battles are a vital part of what makes grime so unique and compelling.
Okay.
It's a genre that's constantly evolving, constantly pushing boundaries.
Yeah.
And those battles are a reflection of that creative energy.
I think you've given us a lot to consider about the role of aggression in grime and how it played out in Shut Up. But for our listeners, I want to emphasize that this is just one layer of a very complex and fascinating song.
Absolutely. It's true. Shut Up is like a window into the world of grime with all its complexities and contradictions.
Yeah.
And speaking of contradictions, let's circle back to that Christmas #1 campaign.
Okay.
How does a diss track with all its rough edges become a contender for a festive chart topper?
Right. It seems almost counterintuitive.
Yeah.
But I think that unexpectedness is part of what made it so captivating. You had this raw underground energy clashing with the polished world of pop music.
Yeah.
And the public was hooked.
It was a real cultural moment. Remember, the Christmas #1 is a huge deal in the UK.
Oh, yeah.
It's a tradition, a part of the national conversation.
Yeah.
And here comes Stormzy. This grime artist who'd been bubbling under the surface, suddenly challenging the status quo.
And he did it without compromising his style, his message, his authenticity.
Yeah.
It wasn't a watered-down version of grime.
Right.
It was the real deal.
Exactly. And I think that resonated with people.
Yeah.
They were drawn to that rawness, that sense of defiance. It felt like a breath of fresh air in a chart landscape often dominated by manufactured pop.
And let's not forget the role social media played.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
The campaign was driven by fans, by word of mouth, by this collective desire to see something different at the top of the charts.
It was a perfect storm, really.
Yeah.
You had the song itself with its undeniable energy and catchy hook. You had the Anthony Joshua moment, which catapulted it into the public consciousness. And you had this passionate fan base using social media to spread the word.
It's a case study in how to build momentum organically, how to tap into a cultural zeitgeist and create something truly special. And even though Shut Up didn't reach that #1 spot, its impact was undeniable.
Absolutely. It peaked at #8, sold over 1 million copies, went double platinum.
Crazy.
Those are achievements most artists can only dream of.
I know.
But beyond the numbers, Shut Up signaled a shift in the cultural landscape.
It felt like grime had finally arrived, not just as a niche genre, but as a force to be reckoned with.
And it paved the way for other grime artists to cross over into the mainstream.
Right.
Artists like Skepticon or Jame,
Yeah.
they were all gaining traction around the same time. But Shut Up helped create a climate where their success was possible.
It's amazing to think that one song born from a freestyle in a car park could have such a ripple effect.
Yeah.
But Shut Up wasn't just a random hit.
Right.
It was built on years of hard work, dedication, and a deep understanding of grime's roots.
You're right. Stormzy had been honing his craft for years, battling other MCs, building his reputation in the underground scene. And that experience is evident in every bar of Shut Up.
You can hear it in the way he flows, the way he uses wordplay, the way he commands attention with every syllable.
Yeah.
He's not just rapping. He's telling a story, painting a picture with his words.
And that's what makes him such a compelling artist.
Right.
He's not afraid to be vulnerable, to show different sides of himself.
Yeah.
You see it in the Marge reference, in the moments where he lets his guard down and reveals a softer side.
It's that balance that juxtaposition of aggression and vulnerability that makes Shut Up so captivating. It's not a one-dimensional track. It's a multi-layered exploration of identity, ambition, and the complexities of the grime scene.
And it's a reminder that sometimes the most unexpected creations can have the most profound impact.
Speaking of unexpected, let's dive into the production of Shut Up itself.
Okay.
Because while the lyrics and the story behind the song are undeniably captivating, we can't ignore the sonic landscape that underpins it all.
You're talking about Functions on the Low, that iconic instrumental that serves as the foundation for Shut Up.
Exactly.
It's fascinating how a beat released in 2004 by Rough Squad could become such a crucial element in a song that would define the grime scene a decade later.
What is it about that instrumental that makes it so special? I mean, it's relatively minimal repetitive, but there's something about it that just draws you in.
It's that raw, gritty energy that's so essential to grime. The beat is stripped back, almost skeletal, leaving space for the MC to shine, to fill the gaps with their words and flow.
And Stormzy clearly understood how to utilize that space. His delivery is so precise, so confident, that he almost becomes one with the beat.
Exactly. There's a synergy there, a perfect marriage between the lyrics, the delivery, and the production.
Yeah.
And it's that synergy that helped elevate Shut Up from a good song to a cultural phenomenon.
I think you've hit the nail on the head there. It's the combination of all these elements, the lyrics, the story, the production, the cultural context.
Right.
That's what makes Shut Up such a fascinating and enduring track.
And it's a reminder that music is rarely created in a vacuum.
Yeah.
It's a product of its time, its environment, its influences. And Shut Up is a perfect example of how those forces can collide to create something truly special.
But before we wrap up our deep dive into Shut Up, I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier.
Okay.
The impact this song had on grime's journey into the mainstream.
Yay.
Because while we've talked about the numbers, the chart, success, the cultural moments, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on how Shut Up specifically changed things for grime.
Well, I think it helps shatter some of the preconceived notions people had about grime. Before Shut Up, it was often seen as this aggressive underground genre, inaccessible to the mainstream.
Right.
But Stormzy, with his charisma, his lyrical skill, and his undeniable stage presence, proved that grime could be both commercially viable and artistically compelling.
So it's about breaking down barriers, challenging stereotypes, and expanding the definition of what grime could be.
Exactly. Shut Up didn't try to fit into a pre-existing mold. It created its own space, its own rules. And in doing so, it opened doors for other grime artists to follow, to express themselves authentically without compromising their vision.
It's like Shut Up became a blueprint for success.
Yeah.
A testament to the power of staying true to your roots while simultaneously pushing boundaries and reaching new audiences.
Precisely. And that legacy, that impact on the evolution of crime is perhaps the most significant aspect of Shut Up.
Well said. I think we've truly unpacked this song now, haven't we?
We have.
We've explored its origins, delved into the lyrics, analyzed its musical and cultural impact, and even tackled some of the controversies surrounding it.
We have, and it's been a fascinating journey. Shut Up is a song that keeps revealing new layers the more you delve into it.
I couldn't agree more. But before we wrap things up, I want to put this back to our listener. You sent this track in, and I'm curious, what resonated with you about Shut Up? Was it the story behind it, the lyrical battles, the chart success, or something else entirely?
That's a great question, because ultimately music is a personal experience. What speaks to one person might not connect with another, and that's part of the beauty of it.
Absolutely. And for me, Shut Up is a reminder that sometimes the most powerful art comes from the most unexpected places. It's about embracing your individuality, pushing boundaries, and never being afraid to make a statement.
And it's a testament to the power of music, to connect with people on a deep level, to spark conversations, to challenge norms, and to inspire change.
Well said. I think we've given our listener plenty to think about today. But before we go, I want to leave everyone with one final thought. Consider the evolution of grime since Shut Up exploded onto the scene. How has the relationship between grime and mainstream popularity shifted? Has the genre maintained its authenticity, or has it become something different?
It's a question worth pondering, especially in a musical landscape that's constantly evolving.
And as always, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. The podcast sponsor is in the description below, so go and check them out. Thanks.